Diane Kornick from Paintnporcelain. I'm having such success right now with this Santa, and I'm going to finish him up. And I thought, well, before I get too far along, I probably should share some of what I've done with you and let you see how I'm going to finish the first coat, because this is really turning out well. I've added to my palette a lot. Yesterday I added white, pearl gray, which, as it turns out, probably wasn't the right color, but that's okay. I have cool shadow I used for his eyes. And the black, I'm not going to use it now, but I'll use it later. Rich brown, I haven't used it yet, except a little bit in his wrinkles. And I've added transparency. Transparency is a portrait color. It's gorgeous. It adds sunshine where you need sunshine. So I'm just gonna, let me pick him up. I'll show you what I've done so far. So this is, I worked on his hat this morning in the background behind him. The yellow you see right here, that's transparency. Look at that, isn't that gorgeous? It's a portrait color, and it's one of those that is instant sunshine. The color you see around the edge, I've decided to go with rose pomp. And over on this side, to add a little shadow, I put warm shadow. Okay? Now, his hat, the lighter colors there are a soft pink. Can you see that? Yeah. Followed by a soft rose, which is probably more in this area here at the end. And then in the middle where the crease is, where it's dark, that is ruby. So on the pom-pom, I mainly did the pom-pom with, rose pomp, because I knew the background on this side was going to be warm brown gray. And I want, when I fire this, I lose all the lines. So I want to make sure that I can see a difference between the pom-pom and the background. Same thing on this side. I added the transparency so that, good. I added the transparency so that where the pink and the white are, it is a line of demarcation. And when it fires and those lines fire out, I'll be able to see it. Now, I started a little bit on his beard, not much. And that's kind of where I left it. I also did his, the little fur on the hat. And over here on this side, I used that blue-gray that I had. I kind of like that. So if you look at it, it's kind of yellow, blue, and red in a way. It's pinks and blues and yellows. And I think, actually, those go pretty well together. So I'm just going to keep painting, and I'll kind of explain what I've done as I keep painting. This plate is a German plate, I think, because the paint is going on wonderfully. And I'm using mineral oil and mineral spirits to paint it, because when I was painting in Indiana, I began to realize that by doing that, what you end up getting is a really nice, smooth, clean background, and it doesn't dry up. So I knew I was going to be doing this over several days. So that's what I've done so far. Now, I've used this sponge on my finger. You put it around your finger, hold the end of it, and just dab a little. And if you do it very lightly, it really doesn't interfere with your strokes too much. So I'm pretty pleased with that. There we go. Okay, so now I've been using, for the background, I used my filbert. Really gave me a nice background. But for the hat, I tried to use my filbert, and I found out real quick that that wasn't going to work. So I used my my square shader, my 3/4 inch square shader. Now I'm getting into the beard. So I'm keeping the picture from Pinterest real close to me, because I want to make sure that I'm using the colors. You know, sometimes you look at something for the first time and you go, oh, I can do that. And this is one of those, I hope, that I can do, that I'm pretty pleased with so far. Now, I'm going to use my square shader only because I think it's easier to back up. Oh, I got to get the rose pomp out of there. It's easier to back up his beard, because his beard isn't going to be totally white. If his beard were totally white, that would be a problem. So what I'm doing is I'm going to just back up some of the fluff of his beard underneath to give me the illusion that he has a white beard, but at the same time to allow me to do some of the fancy things I want to do. Now, I'm going to repeat this transparency a little bit in his beard in this area, I think. So let me do that first. I'm going to take my filbert and go into my transparency, which almost looks like a yellow-brown on here. And I'm just going to add, now you don't want to add it, in a big glob. You want to add it in just little spurts like this. Then I'm going to take my my sponge, and just sort of dab it a little bit just to get it so that it's pretty decent. And now I'm loading warm brown gray. And I'm going to come up in this corner and just back up some of those white hairs that you see kind of flipping out there. There's another one up in here that I know is going to be up and showing. So I want to put a little bit of color up in there so I have it. But in order to do the color on this, you have to back it up. You can't do it from the front. You have to do it from the back or from the side. And you have to do it as if it's long strokes coming out this way. So this is the first coat. I'm not going to try to do too much except to get a little bit of the color in there. I don't want to mess up what I might have. So, okay, I'm just going to, and this will be kind of a grayish color all the way to the edge. So there, all right. And now I'm going to take more of my warm brown gray. I've decided that's going to be my shadow, quote unquote, on this. And so I'm just going to pull that across. I'm going to pull a little down in here. I'm going to let his beard sort of trail off just a little bit there, and then I'll touch it with my finger. And down in here, I've got the yellow. I think I'm just going to leave the yellow for this time. Now, over in this area, there on the painting is his suit. That's where his suit comes in. And his suit is sort of a soft rose. So I'm going to paint the suit in right here. And you notice I want this watercolor kind of effect. So what I'm doing is I'm dabbing. I'm not, I'm trying real hard just to dab and not so much to get a lot of color in there. This is soft rose. Soft rose is actually a pretty nice color. I have to decide what I'm going to do my berries in. I think, oops, wrong direction. I think I want to do them in more of a, and see down here I'm kind of fading it out. I don't really want this to be, put it back here and a little back in here. Okay, and then I'm going to go into, oh, and there should be a little down in here with his, I think it's right about here they show it too. Yeah, there. So I'm just going to, yeah, that's kind of good. Okay, this is soft rose, and I'm just putting enough on there that it suggests that he has his costume on behind this. I'm not trying to do anything real fancy. Then I'm going to take my filbert, which I love. The filbert is the master of smoothness. My background up in here is all rose pomp. So down here, And I don't know how these colors are going to mix because, you know, sometimes colors, and especially ruby, they look one way when you paint, but then when you actually fire it, it turns a different color. So I'm hoping that's not the case here, but I'm just pulling a little bit of that rose pomp out to the edge. Oops. I like the color with the rose, and rose should go together, but we'll see. Okay. I'm not going to do a lot more on this beard until next time. I might do a little in here, but I'm afraid that if I do too much, I will wreck my next fire. So I guess when in doubt, don't do any more than you think you need to. Now, I will take a picture of this before I put it in the kiln, because I think that that's important so I know exactly what it looked like, and I can go back and make the adjustments then as on the second fire. I always have better luck, it seems like, with the first fire than the second fire. I don't know if I'm the only one like that. Now I'm going to start doing my holly leaves. The holly leaves are, I'm going to do them in a mistletoe full load with a side load of a medium green. So let's do this. Oh, I want a little more medium green there. There we go. I'm going to do more mistletoe up in this area here. Don't want to do the whole thing. It looks a little, there, that's better. It looked a little bit unsmooth. I want it to be a little smoother than it was. Okay. Okay, I'm going to put the rose back. Yeah, that looks better. That's his suit coming down there. Okay. Alrighty, now we'll go back to using the mistletoe on these, even though I know they're holly. And I'll put a little mistletoe on the end here. And I want a little mistletoe here, a little here, a little on the end, not all the way up to the end. The mistletoe is your light color on the holly. My light is coming this way, so I'm just trying to play up the mistletoe. Okay. This is the medium green. I'm using a beginner's technique in doing the color, the dark color first, the light color first, and then putting in the dark. I just think for this particular application, it will work better. Plus, I'm trying real hard not to touch my edges, seeing as I already painted them, which was kind of dumb, but I did it anyway. Now here, you don't want that line down the middle, so I'm going to take and put a little bit of the green on that side. Just blob it. You don't have to be very precise when you're painting. Sometimes the globs are the interesting accidents. So never say, oh, I have to do it this way or I have to do it that way. There is no one way to do it. I'm trying to put my veins in as I do it. There we go. And there's a vein there. Okay. Oh, so now as I'm painting, I see the center section here needs to be the rose. So I'm going to take and get the green off my paintbrush. Now this is going to be kind of a big paintbrush, but I want it to be smooth. Okay, so you see this space in here? Let me move it up a little. This space right here, I want it to be pink because it's part of his background. These are the only berries there. So this brush is a little big for that spot, but if I use the appropriate size, which is probably like a 2 or so, it's going to be choppy, and I want it to be real smooth. So I'm going to take my bigger brush. I'm just going to side load it so that I can very carefully just pull that color through without messing things up. There we go. Put a little color there too. Okay. All right, now I have to decide what color are my berries going to be. I think they should be ruby and rose. So I need a brush. Okay. I have this brush, which is a brush from Brigitte Porter. It's a really nice brush. It's one of those Dresden brushes. It's like it's like my what's this? The filbert. It's got the rounded sides on it. So I'm going to take and put it in rose and start out with rose on top, like that, wherever the light would be coming from. Okay. And again, I'm using kind of a beginner style of painting because I really want to make sure I get these colors together properly and not screw them up, because this is really turning out pretty. It's one of those things I looked at it and I went, I can paint that. And I have never done portraits, so this is kind of new to me. And like I said, you have to think of it as kind of like painting by number. And that's why I'm painting in the 2 tones, because, there we go. Because you want to put the dark where the dark is, you want to put the light where the light is, and you want to figure out what colors you're using. And that's very key to doing these kinds of paintings, especially portraits, I think. I could be wrong. Like I said, I've never taken a class, so never thought I'd like them. But Santa's a little different, don't you think? Okay. And then I'm going to put it down here, too. Now, because I'm using mineral oil, it will not dry up. If you are not used to using mineral oil, don't just start because I'm using it. Try something you don't care about with it, and then go to it. I painted with it for years. I had a teacher who was extremely susceptible to smells, and this was about the only smell she could tolerate. So we did a lot of it. Now I'm going to try this. This is my fancy Q-tip, and just try to put a little, there we go. There. Put one on this one. Okay, and then up in here, we're going to put a highlight. That's pretty good. I like that. Over-exaggerate your highlights on the first fire because they're only going to disappear as you go. And there's one. Okay. All right. And now we're just going to do the other side of him and finish the edge. But with the mineral oil, things don't dry out on you. So you can do this and play with this and take your time with this, and it doesn't matter. I did this over 2 days. It doesn't matter because mineral oil won't dry out on you. Okay. Now I'm gonna, light still coming from this direction. These holly leaves are a little more fussy. Don't know why, but they are. I think I just got tired of drawing holly leaves. I hate holly. This is not my favorite. And here, because the sun's coming this way. And Susan Thumb taught us something that I thought was really cool. So if your light's up here, you can look like this. You can take and hold a pencil up here, and you can see I've got the light on the right spots there. But down here, it's going to come down to here, right? And then here, it's going to hit at the top here. So that can help you if you're trying to, see, I've got this little mark up here, so I'll hold it there. And see? Yeah, there should probably be a little more right here too. There you go. And that helps you here, see? If I hold it up here, the edge, oops, I'm sorry, this twists around so much. The edge here, see, I've got it there, I've got it here. Got it on the end here, which is good, end here and there. So that's all right. So that's an easy way to tell if you're doing your shadows, your highlights in the right spot or not. Now, why am I putting the dark down here when I just said that's a highlight? Because when it goes under the berries down here at the base, let me tap in my, there. It always should have a little shadow, okay? And then I'm going to put a little shadow here and here maybe. Oh, I should put a little here too. There. Okay, and then here. And I'm holding my brush way back because I don't want to get the edge here. So I am painting a little odd, but that's why, because I'm really trying not to mess up the edge that I already did. Okay, and here, it's easier. I can rest my hand on my Lazy Susan here. There we go. We don't want that line, so we're going to put a little of the dark green on this side and just pull it towards the berry. And the same thing here. I'm just going to pull it towards the berry. And then I'm going to tap in my veins. I like tapping in veins. I learned that a million years ago from Mary Petoskey. And it was very simple to do then, and so that's why I did it. Okay, going back to this pretty brush that I have here. Get another one of my Q-tips out here. And I'm just going to put the highlights on these guys. So there's one right there. And there's one right here. And one right here. There we go. Okay. So now all there's left to do on this first fire is to finish off this part, which I will do with my filbert. Okay, I want to add a little ruby. I don't know why, but I do. I think it's because his oh, not ruby, I'm sorry, soft rose. I want to do that because I think it's his jacket sort of reflects through his beard down at the bottom. And so I just want to, but I'm going to do it this way. Kind of a textured look. Okay. And then I'm going to get the rose pomp and finish it off. There we go. And I just want it to sort of fade out. I don't really want to define the end of his beard. I just want it to sort of fade out. So that's why I'm painting it this way. Oops, there we go. The lines I had on here were so that I could match up where I wanted to have my Santa on the plate when I was tracing him. Okay, so now, look this over. I think I would like a little more ruby. Oops, lost the ruby there. There we go. A little more ruby right here. I find ruby a very hard color to paint with. Mainly because it never fires the color I think it's going to fire. That's why I didn't put a lot on here. And now I'm going to look at, where's my here? I'm going to look at his, there are a couple places that we wanted his beard to sort of come out. Come here, you. That's better. And I want it to kind of swirl on this side too. There we go. And I want it to sort of swirl up this way here. Okay. I might want, okay, that's it. I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to mess with it. Because before I get too far along, I wanted to just share with you how I'm going to put the background on and finish the first vine. Okay, thanks for tuning in. Pick up those brushes, keep painting, and I'll see you next time. Bye.